Somehow you have a you had a different version.
All right, now everything's
Yeah,
being
it's like,
recorded, guys. Just giving you guys heads up. If you guys
okay.
want to go ahead and mute your
Yeah, yeah.
station so you don't, interrupt as we go through the process. But as we get started here, we're calling this meeting to order at 6:07 p.m., January 22, 2025. Chestnut Creek Condominium Association Annual Meeting. The introduction of the board. All three board members are here. Charlene Fang, the president, Marco Polsky, the vice president, and Victor Thomas, the secretary, all are here. We do have actually 10 units represented through some proxies for Miss Charlene. Marco has 2 units and Victor has 1 unit. Did everybody get the email with the
Yes, yes, I got it, and I did read it some. So yes, very clear.
Actually, I didn't. In my attachment was only the Zoom, but maybe I didn't scroll down far
Scroll
enough.
down. It should be there. Charlene
Okay.
found it. You should have it.
All right.
But
Yeah,
Okay.
so just going through this a little bit, we're going to start out with the year in review. So some of the things that we accomplished over at Chestnut Creek this year, we extended the fence in the front area by 10 feet, which added probably about, I would say, another 2,000 square feet of green area for, the kids or whoever out there to play around. But it added a lot more space, and I think it looked really good
yeah,
after.
it looks good.
Yeah.
That's very good. I like it.
Yeah, a couple of other things that we did. We removed the tree by building F. There was a big tree over there, and actually it caused some damage that was causing damage to the brick wall over
All
there.
right. You mean the big tree in front of the F building,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we
Yes,
removed that tree, and we also actually removed the tree by building B as well. The big tree over by the uh, uh, the
the
garbage
back,
dumpster.
the
Yeah,
back.
the
Okay.
garbage dumpster. Yeah. Other things that we did, there was some loose railing in building F that was inside the common area. Like the railing was quite loose and quite dangerous. We repaired that. There was a small leak in the building F roof repair that we had. Also, some that was also very minor. Another larger repair that we had, there was a large sewage leak in the parking lot, which caused some
Right.
damage to the
Correct.
sidewalks. There was some sewage that was coming up, but we got that repaired. But we still need to repair some of the sidewalk there, along with some of the other concrete areas in the complex. Another thing that we did was we added some dog waste stations behind building C and D. We had some in between building A and B and E and F, but
Right.
not behind the building C and D. So we added some dog waste
Yes.
stations over there.
Yes. Sorry, but just make sure because right now usually a lot of time it's empty, totally empty. Now when I talk to you and somebody refill only one, but it's still okay because we not many dog. But right now we have like a one, two, three, four, five, six, maybe six, seven dogs, pets around the build at the complex.
Hmm.
But okay, but just make sure they will fill out the bag, make sure it's not empty.
Hmm.
I have my own, but I just want to make sure it's not empty.
What's not empty?
The bag, the dog for
The trash?
the not the trash,
Dog poop?
the poo, yeah,
The
for
the
dog
dog
small, yeah,
poop plastic bags.
right,
That's what
Yeah.
she's
Oh, yeah, yeah,
referring
yeah,
to.
yeah. We
right.
yeah, the cleaning lady has all that stuff. But let me go through all these here, and then we'll have you guys like kind of like talk later because if we're all talking the whole time, the meeting's going to last too long. Let's try to get this this meeting to an hour
Charlene,
less.
why don't you just mute your thing? So you hit on the screen and then you hit
I'll
mute
mute
on the
her.
bottom.
I'll mute you guys. Yeah, you can mute yourself. But anyways, let me finish out this year in review. So we installed the dog waste stations there behind building C and D. The foundation repair for the D building was a success. So what was happening? You guys remember the special assessment that we called for? The building D was actually sinking because of the erosion in the back of the complex there. It's causing a little bit of a drop, and I think it had dropped like an inch and a half over the past, I don't know, 60 years or whatever it was, or 80 years that the building has been built. But after fixing the repair, the construction people, they give us a 50-year warranty. So I think we'll be okay with any kind of like sinking or any kind of erosion issues for the D building in the future. Um, the insurance company this year, this was a little bit of a hassle for us. We were dropped by the insurance company this year because we had a couple of pipe bursting the past few years. The past 2 years, we had some pipes burst. So this year they dropped us and we had to get a new insurance company. Whenever you get a new insurance company, there's a lot of things we have to do to get the property like maintained well so that they don't drop us. We'll go through that whenever we go through some of the insurance options that we have, but we actually had to scramble around to find an insurance cover that would actually even cover our building. Another thing that we do, what we do every year, is we clean the gutters. And that was the last little year in review, was that just that all of the insurance companies over the past year for everything have just increased their prices. So that's why it was a bit difficult for us to find people to actually cover our building. The next thing that we want to go through here, and probably the meat and bones of our meeting, is going to be the financials. You guys have this, the financial statement, the income statement for the property for the past 12 months. So just going through some of these figures here. We just
You want to share it? Maybe you can share it. I like on the
uh,
screen. No? Hmm. No,
um,
okay. Okay then.
yeah. Just pull it up on your email. Pull up on your email on your phone or on something else, and you can see it there. But you can see all the income here. Most of our income is going to be from the association income. Usually, if we have everybody paying up to date, we have about $84,000. If everybody's paying the $250 a month, that's $84,000 in association income. We're almost right at that. I think there was just some late payments or something that were outstanding that we didn't reach the 84,000. The association leasing permit, that's for all the people that are actually leasing the units. We have 16 units of the 28 units that are being leased, and everybody's paying $250. So that should equal out to about $4,000. This year we're at 3750, which means like probably somebody paid it like in December or something like that, to where it didn't cover the 4,000. But if everybody's paying on time, which we saw that everybody did, it was 4,000. It was just a matter of when it was accounted for, and I think it was just earlier than this year that it was accounted for. That's why I didn't reach the 4,000. Other fees that we've collected, NSF fees, insurance services. Insurance gave us a rebate back of $109. NSF fees just means that people, whenever they bounce a check or whatever, or have a return payment, that's a bank fee of $75 that we receive. Some late fees of $455 were paid into the association, and there was a repair reimbursement. Repair reimbursement was just somebody had asked of the association or me to fix one of the ACs or something like that, and then they just reimbursed the association the money that the association paid to get that repaired. So that was just really just a reimbursement, not really a profit uh, type situation. So a little bit more in terms of the income. Then we had a fine of $250 probably for the trash issue. I think that's kind of an issue at the complex. Charlene likes to call us quite a bit concerning the trash issue. A lot of people leaving their trash outside the dumpster. Um, and then gate cards and remotes, another $175, and then a temporary parking permit pass. So if anybody has more than two cars on the property that's gonna be parked there for more than a month, we charge them $100 extra for those parking fees, and we had another $500 in revenue for that. Bringing our total operating income. Well, actually, let's go back to the top. There was a special assessment income of 47,625 and 75 cents. We haven't fully collected on the total amount of the special assessment income yet. We still have a couple people that were paying on a payment plan that still haven't finished out their payments yet. So that's why we haven't collected the full 50. It was like 51,000, I think, for the total special assessment. But our total operating income for the year was $137,834.75. If you want to turn the page, we're going into the expenses of the property. Expenses of the property, you can see landscaping at the very top, 5,655, averages about almost $500 a month, about $475 a month in landscaping. Cleaning and other maintenance, That this is just like probably just picking up around the property, especially if there was like something large that we had to get removed around the dumpster or something like that. That was $430. Property sweep, that is the every day or every weekly maintenance of the property when they come every Wednesday to clean up around the property. That was at $4,998.01. So the total maintenance of the property, $11,083.01. In terms of the property insurance, you can see here, last year we spent on insurance about $17,000. You can see now that the insurance policy has increased to about $21,000 per year. We believe we can get that lowered a little bit to about $15,000 if we shop it around this year. That we know that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find insurance carriers. We're going to start looking a little bit earlier. Our insurance policy ends at the end of October, so we'll start looking probably in the beginning of September or so. But this year we were a little bit handcuffed because we didn't know that we were going to get dropped from our current insurance until midway through October. So that's why at the end of October, we were just scurrying around trying to find somebody to carry us. Anybody that would carry us ended up being a little bit more expensive. So it ended up being about $21,000 per year this year. But we're all very confident that we can get that lowered for next year, probably somewhere around the $15,000 range. I think, like I said, last year we paid about $17,000 in property insurance. Um, the legal fees, this is just accounting, just a CPA to prepare the taxes. My management fees are
Can I
15,000.
just ask you, sorry, Tim.
Shoot, go ahead.
So did you did you already compare last year's insurance versus this year, or we haven't gotten there yet?
No, we have. We did.
So,
It was the same coverage, but like I said, we had to pay a little bit more.
how
Um,
much?
this year we have paid 21,000.
Okay, and last year 17.
Yes, last year we paid about 17,000. But
Mm.
we're
Are you
expecting
using a broker or something to get pricing?
yes.
Or?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, we are. But our broker
Okay.
didn't let us know about the drop until midway through October. And then
Wow.
to renew with the old company, they actually didn't drop us. They actually increased it by double. So instead of
Oh,
yeah, so that's why we just said forget it. We're going to find somebody else. Hold on just one second. We have somebody else coming into the meeting. Let me get um let me get him the link. But like I said, I think if with more time, I think we can get that fee down. Um, in terms of the management fee, our fee is 15,000, 1250 per month. And renovation and improvements, this was let me see what these fees are for here. We had about $7,200. I think this was for the fence. $7,200 was spent on the fence. The $39,000 was the amount spent on the actual, if you go down the income statement, the foundation repair. But the reason why the assessment was a little bit more was because we had to actually move the AC units. We had to actually repair D2 after they dug into, because they actually had to dig inside the unit. So we had to repair D2 again, and we had to actually, move his tenants over to a hotel during that time whenever we had to move it. So that all of those fees and all of those costs ended up being right about the 51,000. It was actually very good budgeting that we had. In terms of other repairs, we had a couple of leaks. The major one you can see back in March was about $7,000. That was a big leak. That was the sewage repair in the middle of the parking lot. That was $7,000, actually $6,951. And a couple of other small repairs in plumbing were underneath building E. The building E building underneath had a couple of leaks, but those were just small leaks, small repairs, $645 and $495 for those. The roof repair was $450 over in building F. Um, some of the other minor repairs in the building ended up being about $1,422. Those small repairs the um being the handrails and smaller items like that. Let's welcome Mr. Enoch to the meeting. Hello, Mr. Enoch. You here? He is the new owner of Mr. Enoch is the new owner of C3, C4, C4, I believe. Yeah, he's the new owner of C4. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Enoch. We're just going through right now. We're going through the income statement for the property. That was all emailed to you. Did you receive that?
Yes.
Good, good, good. So right now we're on the expenses right now, going through some of the repairs. Another one of our major repairs that we have every year, and again, what happened to it this happened again this year was our gate repair. So our gate repair between the pedestrian gate and the normal gate was about $6,589 to repair. The gate is getting older, it is aging, so it does require quite a bit of maintenance. And also, we have like I saw kids jumping on it before and things like that, so that's going to cause damage to it. But the total repairs around the property are at $16,553.24, which equals out if our income is about 85 to 90,000, 16,000, you're thinking that's probably about 25% of the property, which for a building our age is pretty average. I mean, that's what you should expect from.
Should we review or revisit the idea, maybe getting a new motor on the gate?
I mean, it's more money. That the
You
main.
think so?
Yeah, yeah. The main cost for the gate is going to be the motor, but that's not what's really failing. Just some of the electronics, because it is exposed to the elements. It is outside. It's going to have issues with just
Mhm,
maintenance. It's just
mhm,
cause. It's just going to
mhm, mhm.
need maintenance. But moving forward, going down to the utilities, for the last year, the utilities we spent $4,294 on electricity. The electricity just for the common area lights, and also there's a couple of big Georgia Power parking lot lights that are powered. It's not much though. It averages out to be about $300, $350 a month for electricity for the property, which I don't think is too bad. Water, we're up to about $1,500 a month, or $18,320.37 a year, which I still don't think is outrageous. Water is water. That's how much it's going to cost. In terms of the garbage, I think we're getting a good deal as well, averaging about 300 bucks or so a month, 35, 25, 54 for the year in our waste management deal. And then the internet and cable, the internet is for the gate. That's about 220 bucks, or 110, $120 a month, equaling out to about $1,400 a year in internet and cable. Last year, I believe it was Victor that had mentioned something about the pest control outside. We got some pest control started. Um, Really just kind of handle like the spiders and the wasps outside, and this is a quarterly service. Ended up being about $750 for the year. Not very expensive. Now, when I was explaining to you guys about how the special assessment was over the amount of the actual foundation repair, this is what it entails. There was a boarding hotel that we had to board the tenants in D2, the people that were digging in there. We had to board them up for a month, and that cost about $3,200. Government fees. This is just for licensing and renewing our association membership was $155 a year. The paint cost was for that same thing, the painting for the unit of D2. The materials for the flooring, that was $784 for D2 for the replacement of their floors after we had to dig into their ground. Just some other materials that we had to use for the repair, another $2,000. The tree removal, $2,200. That was for the removal of that tree by Building F. The Door King subscription. So Door King we have to have a membership to Door King in order to use their call service. That's about $687 per year. And then let me see what this reimbursement expense was. There's a reimbursement expense of $25.97, and that was for. Oh, that was to reimburse the D2 owner for damages caused to his unit by the repair. So that all in all, we spent about 151,304.99 on the year. And if you compare that to the 137,000 in income that we had a net loss last year of about $13,470. If you guys want to go ahead and go into the budget, we can actually start discussing that since we're talking about numbers for our association. The budget is going to be on the last page of the handout that I emailed over to you guys. I just sort of rounded these numbers up. We have to have a budget in order for insurance to cover us, and also we have to have a budget in terms of if you guys want to sell the units or whatever, like all lenders and everything, they need budgets to see how healthy the association is and how well planned it is for the next year. If you want to go through the budget, I just went through this year's landscaping costs here. This is keeping all of the numbers basically the same. We spent about $5,700 in landscaping. That should be about the same. Parking lot sweeping, that should be about the same, about $5,000 per year. We're not going to increase our management fee. That would be say at $15,000 per year. Professional fees, the pest control, that shouldn't change. This is the part where we have to sort of decide what we want to do with the property. Renovation and improvements. Last year we only spent $7,000 on renovation and improvements. That was extending out the fence about 10 feet. That was $7,000. I wanted to increase it to about $10,000. There's other improvements around the property that we'd like to do. We talked about like adding a fire pit to like the area beside building F, or maybe having a picnic area over by where the picnic the barbecue grill is, something like that, just something to like just sort of like beautify the property. Like I said, last year we spent $7,000. We can spend $10,000. We can discuss on different options that we can do to make the property like a little bit more appealing, because I think that there's a bunch of new apartments coming up around the area, and for like the investors in Chestnut Creek, like Marco, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to compete with like some of these new apartment complexes without these new improvements and these new renovations. If we move down the list here, repairs and maintenance. Last year we spent, I think it was like 16,000 or almost $17,000 in repairs and maintenance. I want to keep it about the same because that's probably going to be about the same in terms of our total income. Our total income is about $90,000. We want to try to keep it around 25-30% of our total operating income, just because, like I said, the buildings are old. They're built in 1964, 1961, so they're going to need some care. They're going to need some repairs, and we already have some repairs in mind for next year. Some of the repairs that we have in mind are going to be that brick wall in the front from that tree in front of the building F. It looks like shit. We have quotes to repair that, and some of the concrete around the complex, the concrete that was dug up for the sewage repair that needs to be repaired. Also around building B, I don't know if you guys have been around building B, but behind building B, that the whole sidewalk, the whole area back there, is sort of sagging and sort of sinking into the ground, along with that retaining wall behind building B and building A. If you go back there, you can see that retaining wall that's holding up like some of the vegetation from the other side of the complex. It's starting to push it in, and it's starting to lean a little bit. So that's going to have to be addressed eventually. And retaining walls are very expensive. Even if we don't do that this year, we should like start to collect money and start to have like a little bit of a balance for that, just for any kind of emergencies or anything dealing with that. Insurance, even though we had $21,000 worth of fees in insurance last year, I think we can probably get it down to about 15,000. Just supplies and miscellaneous things, another $1,000 for that. Utilities, I kind of kept them the exact same numbers from last year for next year, even though it probably won't be the same numbers. I mean, utilities do increase, although they don't increase like, that much, but they do slowly start to increase. So if you want to add all of these numbers up together, the expenses for the entire year are going to be about 96,409.68. So right under $100,000. And as you know, we only collect $90,000 per year in regular revenue in terms of our dues. So that's already $6,000 over what we're collecting. So if you go down a little bit further, you can see the actual HOA dues income. This is just if everybody pays on time, everybody pays their 250, everybody pays on time. It's $84,000 a year. The leasing permit income is $4,000 per year, making our total income at 88,000, which puts us at a deficit of about $8,409 per year. And this is, like I said, pretty much exactly the same numbers as last year. The only thing that I've added really was just the renovation and improvements of $10,000, where we spent $7,000 of it last year. So that's why I was going to ask you guys if you guys wanted to increase the dues for next year. I think it's going to be a good idea. And also we need, not only do we have to address these issues, but there's other issues like, for the long term in terms of like the parking lot needs to be upgraded. We have erosion issues behind building C and D that we should be collecting for and collecting like a small little capital fund just for like emergencies like that to address these issues as they happen later on. But I had a couple of different ways that we can actually increase the dues. Either we can increase the dues by $25 across the board for everybody, which would increase it to the total income by $8,400 per year. That's if everybody gets a $25 increase. Or we can just increase the rental fees. The rental fees right now are $250 for all the people that are leasing out their units, all the investors. They pay $250 per unit per year. We can increase that by another $250 and make it $500 per year just for the investors. That's 16 units. And if we do that, that would increase it by $4,000 per year. And right now, like I said, we're about $8,400 under what I forecast that we need for next year. So we can I'll unmute a little bit and we can discuss this budgeting and discuss like some of the numbers that you guys see and ask questions and we can discuss it. What's up? What y'all think? Come on,
I,
Marco.
s- I know. I see my wallet is gonna
Well,
my wallet is gonna get thinner.
we
No, I'm
haven't
just
we
kidding.
haven't increased dues in like 3-4 years.
So I think we should do a combination. I think that's my opinion.
Which is, tell me,
$25, $25 additionally on the association, which makes it to
275.
275.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I think
that'll
that,
give us an
and
additional
then
8,400.
and then I was thinking you can maybe go up 50 on the rental unit. So instead of 250, we're gonna do 300.
Per year. That
Yeah.
only increases us up.
2,000, right?
No,
No, 16 times
50.
800.
16.
800.
I mean, this is just $800 increase. I mean, that's not really much, that's not.
But if you do 25 per unit times 28 times 12 is
Yeah, 28 by $25 is an increase of $8,400 per year.
right. And then you add on the additional
And another
800, so
800
you're at
bucks.
96.
Yeah, but then that doesn't give us any leeway. Like I said, this right here, we're about 8,500 under budget right now. The 8,500 can come from the $25 increase in everybody's dues. And then
Mhm.
we'll need like, just a surplus just to like put into, because I want to suggest that we have like some money that we left over, a surplus, put into our capital reserve fund. That's for like
Mhm.
long-term stuff, like,
Yeah,
this,
yeah, understood.
10, 20 years down the line. Some of the other issues, like I said, whenever we go back onto the agenda, some of the other issues that we have at the property. I mean, it's an
What?
aging property. I mean, we have
Hmm.
we had to repair the brick wall. We got to all the concrete around the property, including like the retaining wall in the back, is about $20,000. The erosion in the back behind building C and D is going to be
Hmm.
$5,000. I mean, obviously, some of this stuff we can't do this year or next year, but we
Hmm.
have to do it eventually. Pressure washing around the property, which I do recommend. We didn't do it this year, but I do recommend doing pressure washing every few years, just because just
Pressure washing for what? On the grounds or
everything. Yeah, the grounds,
the buildings?
everything. Yes. That's $3,000. But common area, hallways. So the common areas inside the hallways are getting beat up now too. Each one of those hallways for like the smaller hallways for buildings A, B, E, and F. Those buildings are about $1,500 to like repaint, put down new floors, put down new carpet. That's about $1,500 for each one of those. We have four of those, and it's about $2,000 for like the bigger common areas and
Tim,
buildings.
what I what I would recommend is I can see that C and D building, the erosion wall needs that's urgently because it's really going downhill there.
Yeah.
I think on the building A and B, I would suggest we start with half this year and maybe half the following year. So you cut the 20 in half. So we do it in two steps, or we start, or what we could do is we tell the installer start in November and run into January or February. So we take 10 this year, 25, and another 10 for 26.
You're talking about what now? You're talking about
You said the erosion and the concrete
yes,
in A and B. You said
yes.
that's in total 20. So I
Oh,
would
no, that's
I,
the
I
that's,
would I
that's
would
the
divide
retaining
that.
wall. Yeah, that's the true retaining wall. Retaining wall and
Yeah,
all concrete is about 20 grand. Yeah.
right. So that's what I mean. Maybe we divide it in two steps. So we do half,
It's just that
or
the
we do it towards the end of the year, both sided.
it's just that these quotes are for doing it all, which they're gonna give us a discount for doing all of it at once rather than piecemealing. If we piecemeal it, just you do this concrete here, do this concrete there, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. But we can still do it that way, just as like,
Mm.
lessen the blow of,
I
collect.
just want to protect. I think since we just each of the ownership had to pony up 1,750 for this foundation repair, I caution that we immediately climb up too harsh. I think 25 will be acceptable. I think that would be easy to get through and saying instead of 250, we do 275. Then maybe go up by another 100 on the rental lease. I mean, we only have 16 rental units.
Yeah.
And I
And that's
think
that's why
we're
it's
going
not
to
a
be
lot.
careful. We're not going to take the investors, I mean, including myself or yourself, to really go after them and saying, hey, we get, because actually the issue is really that taxes have uh, tripled within the
Yep.
last 4 or 5 years. So,
Exactly
you
right.
know, back in 2020, it was about $1,100, and now we are 3,600.
Yep.
So it's not only on the forefront for the association fees go up, but it's also on the back end from the taxes.
What'd you say, Charlene?
Well, I was like really focused on you to fix all those necessary things, and the rest of our other like a pressure washer or remodeling stuff will be later because I am not really uh,
Right. I
hurried
am.
for we need to have a quality living first, quality of the union tenant first, because you make it so clean everything, but they'll still trash everywhere. They don't care. I prefer safety will be the first concern.
Sure.
Are
Sure.
you okay with a little increase, Charlene?
How much
I
do
I
we,
I I was like no problem since I'm the owner. I pay exactly from my pocket, not from the tenants. I don't mind at all for the increase the homeowner association fee. I totally agree with that. But and those money can cover for the those
well, we can discuss which projects that we take on. I'm just giving you guys,
yeah, yes,
we have a
yes.
lot of projects.
It's very detailed. I like it. I like that today you present is very detailed. But to me, if we can focus on to fix those seriously critical
Yeah, I
maintenance,
would agree. Yeah.
We
yeah.
Yeah,
will
I would agree with that,
we can
Tim.
discuss like which
I think,
projects that we do.
right.
Because I have a list of them, so don't worry. I'm going to give you guys a
No,
list
I
of
so I
what to
so
do.
I think the C and D wall is important, right? Erosion walls. I think that's further
That is
because of
a
the creek.
very, yeah, that's very
And that's like
important
that's
and
35 grand,
right.
you know? And then, like I said, the retaining wall and all the concrete behind building B, that's about 20 grand.
I would just wait for that another year.
Yes, yes, I agree
Well,
with Marcos.
okay. Well,
You can't have it all. I'm sorry, Tim.
Victor,
You
what you
know,
say? Mr.
Yeah,
Secretary, what you say?
yeah. I mean, what Marco's saying makes sense. When it comes to like how much we're bringing in and like what we have a lot of plans, but not enough coming in
yeah,
to fund all of them.
exactly.
So
Where do you
yeah,
think?
we have to like
Tim, wishful
prioritize.
thinking. Wishful thinking.
Hey, that's my job, man. That's my job.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So what are we going to agree on then in terms of the increase? Are we going to increase
I would do
dues,
25. That's my
25 for the dues?
recommendation
And what
for
about
each
for
one.
the rental fees for the investors?
Do it 100.
What do you think, Charlene? What do you think, Victor? What do you think, Enoch?
Well, I think you're right. I'm a little bit confused about the rental leasing permit. Are
Yes.
you talking about that one?
So
Are they going to pay every month for that?
no.
No,
So
no,
right
no.
now,
It's a one-off
right now they pay $250 per year to be able to
per
lease
unit, per unit,
per unit per year
times
though.
16 units per
Per,
And
year.
right now we have 16
per
units that are being
you're talking about
leased,
they pay per year
$250
per year.
Additionally,
per
yeah,
year.
we agreed on that 3 years ago,
Yeah.
Charlene. When
Yeah,
we
yeah,
met,
for that.
when we met in person, remember?
Yeah, I remember that. I like to increase that one if it's only increase for per year. It's really for the owner, for the landlord. It's really piece
Yeah,
of cake.
how much do you suggest? If we increase it, like I said, by 250, we can get an additional $4,000 per year.
But right now it's how much right now? 250 right now.
250.
But
Marco,
Marco say
100.
increase 100.
Yeah,
Marco
Sounds
says
like a
350.
350.
Right.
yeah.
That's about 1,600. That'd be $1,600 more to the association per year. Just anyways,
Well,
we, we,
Marcos has a tool.
we can we
Who
can we
you
can we
What
can
do you
vote on
think, Marcos?
that.
You're the one. I don't have any extra unit, so I don't care. I prefer you guys increase as high as you can.
I
So
understand.
you're the one has to make decision. You and Tim and you guys have a
No,
several.
it's your guys' decision. I just give you guys the options. You guys make the decisions. Victor,
Marcos,
what you say?
we hope
I
you.
know you look at me. I know. So that's what I said. I think it is fair that all of us adding the 25 per month, which brings us quite a bit of extra change, is over $8,000. That's all units together each month. And the rental unit, instead of 250 once a year, that's like our addition to that we are not present and not owner related inside. Currently I would add another 50% on top, means $100. And then maybe the following year we add another 50 to bring it up to 400, per
Victor,
unit.
what you say?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think the HOA fees increased to $25 more, and the permit leasing permit increased to 100. And I think it's very nobody's supposed to complain about that.
What you
yeah,
say,
I agree with
Victor?
that.
Victor, everybody's
I
cool
I
with
would
agree
that?
with
say,
that.
yeah, I would say like 25 a month on the dues, and then I guess for the rental fees, like, yeah, like I only have one unit, and
So
like
you and I have no
I,
problem, Victor.
yeah, I would say like 100 or 150.
No.
Um, as
This is
far as the
100
rental
or
fees.
150?
this is a
Yeah,
one
No, no,
well,
no.
fee.
So
Victor say 100 or 150.
Mm.
I
on
I would like to say I'm sorry I'm new, but
Hey, Nick,
hey guys,
new C4 owner.
Ray,
Welcome.
I actually
Hey.
like Victor's proposal rather than doing Marco at 100 for the renters and then adding another 50 the next year. Why not just keep it 150 for 2-3 years? I think that would be people don't like changes, so we might as well make one change and make it last for 3-4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
150?
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
just make it a straight up
that, that, that,
400,
that
and then
makes
we can
sense.
raise the
That makes
HOA
sense.
fee.
Yeah, that makes
We can
sense.
raise the HOA fee if it gets worse to another 25 next year, the following year, or whatnot for everybody else. But I think rentals, I don't know. For me, I think a one-time change for a few years is better than changing every year. I don't think people like that. Then we have to have this
That
discussion
makes sense.
again
That
and
makes sense.
again every year. I'm not. I don't know. That's just me, but
Yeah.
It's a one-time fee, Marco. $400. We're okay with it?
I already paid you 250, so it's only 150
That's right.
additionally.
Okay. Well, we'll say that
Yeah, let's do it. So
all
let's
right,
do it.
all
So,
right. We got
but
a
then
consensus.
what we should write at least, then let's put in your memo or in your summary that we protected at least for 2 years,
yes, I agree.
25 and 26, and maybe revisit this in 27 because we got to be careful. I think
Protect it for 2
we
years,
don't want to,
$200.
yeah, because we don't really want to punish the ones like us
And
who use it as an investment,
right.
you know.
And then
Gotcha.
I also like what Miss Charlene mentioned. Let's focus on the safety side first. The extra
Yeah,
fireplace, whatnot,
right.
these extra stuff, we can deal with it later. If we have a surplus later on this year with these changes, maybe we can chip in on that. Keep it simple, safety.
I agree.
I know you mentioned, Tim, that are the adjacent, they're building these really nice condo units. I don't know. I feel like if they were to rent, they were gonna ask 2 times more than what we're asking
Oh
for.
yeah,
So
for sure.
we don't need to compete. We're competing
I don't
by
correct, and I
rental
think
places.
that's I think we have a very loyal audience, rental tenants, lawyers. I mean, I don't know how many you would know that, Tim, how many times, but even with my tenant, I mean, my initial, I think A4, she lives there for at least 8 or 10 years, and then
Yes, 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 yes. That
you know,
we have a several like Marcos,
yeah,
the
they've
tenants
been
been
very
there
loyal.
for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They love the place and they
yeah.
really take care of
And you know, they
the
don't pay that much rent. I mean, quite frankly, because of their length of staying.
Mhm.
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, the taxes have more than tripled. I mean, I could even last year, the mortgage wasn't even covering enough. I actually had to put every month additionally funds in it. Funny enough. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay. Well, regardless,
so
we're
let's do 150 for the next 2 years protected and
gotcha.
25 per unit. So that means it gives us roughly $10,000 extra.
question right now. How much homeowner association fee is 290
Yeah,
what
250.
250.
250.
250? I thought I always pay
Yeah,
285.
because
No.
you have some other people there.
No.
No, you're crazy. I'm
280,
only home
285 if
alone
you're late.
myself.
285 if you're late. Okay. Anyways, let's get back on track on track
Okay.
here because I want to try to get us out here like within the next 20 minutes. Okay, so let's go back over to the agenda. So we've decided that on the budget. I'll redo the budget and send it out so then that'll be like set in
Yeah,
stone.
yeah,
Okay.
We can turn it into the insurance company and we can turn it into lenders and things like that so that we have our budget set for 2025.
yeah. Mhm.
In terms of the rest of the financial report, that we only have 2 delinquencies, but both the delinquencies are just because they haven't finished paying their special assessment and they're paying like just in installments. So it's really nobody that's delinquent at the property. Everybody's paying their dues, which is really nice. Just like I said, people just haven't paid up their full special
I
assessment.
love it.
They've contacted us about it. But as of right now, as of
Cool.
yesterday, we only had $646 in the bank account. So that's why, you know, we have to make that more healthy. And
Yeah, you need your credit card, Tim.
and next year I want to start like our capital reserve fund. Like most associations have a capital reserve fund where
Yeah,
they have
yeah, we
like
don't.
they put in like 10% per year into it just so
Well,
for
I
like a
do want to
big
bring this to your attention. I mean, when I'm just hearing now that we off by an inch and a half, that's not a lot for the foundation. I mean, the foundation changes really after 3, 4 inches, which is really this much.
Mhm.
Then maybe we need to really push that up. So that's why I said I think we need to split some of the workload that you have, do the wall in the back, because I think that creek is important to cover.
Well, whenever
And
we get the board members together, I will send out an email with all the projects. You guys can decide on which projects. When I'll show you how much, all the estimates are for it. But
yeah,
let's go ahead and finish up the
yeah,
proposed projects that we have, and we'll bring it up to the board members later. And the board members can vote on which projects that we can take next year or not. The picnic area I was mentioning around the barbecue grill, it's about $1,200 to install a concrete pad. In terms of like, buying actual picnic equipment, that's probably another like $1,000. So you're probably looking at about $2,200 for the picnic area if you guys want to do that. Repair the brick wall. That's in the very front, just the brick wall, the one that's falling down from the building F tree. That's $5,500. I think that one's pretty important to do because that one's been looking terrible for a long time. Um, we used to have a dehumidifier underneath the buildings B and E. Really need a dehumidifier down there just to remove all the moisture from down those areas because, the mold will grow underneath those buildings and actually come up into the units. A dehumidifier is about $1,000. New fire pit over by building F. Now that we've increased the size of the green area by building F, I was thinking to, put something there like a fire pit. Um, Once again, there was repairing the sidewalks and the retaining wall over behind building A and B. That's about $20,000. The erosion behind building C and D is $35,000. Pressure washing the entire property is $3,000. The common area hallways for the small ones, A, B, E, and F, is about $1,500 for each hallway to paint it, to change out all the flooring. To do building C and D because they're a little bit bigger, that's about $2,000. And those common area hallways look, pretty beat up right now. Uh, building E, uh, building E, because of that, as I was saying, like, the mold growth down there, there's actually some foundation issues in building E, not as bad as it was in building D. The foundation issues in building E are about $35,000. Replacing all the electrical panels. Remember, I keep reminding you guys of that every year. We have the original electrical panels for the buildings that were installed in 1961 or whatever the building was built, and we have to update those eventually. And each one of those electrical panels are about $7,000 to update, just to update all the electricals. Also, another project that I'd like to do for next year would be to update all the association bylaws. Now, our bylaws were all written in 2006 once we formed the association in 2006. And the bylaws, they don't really reflect the way that we actually do business. Like, right now we're doing business via email, via text messages and things like that, just to update us up to like, the current standards of how we're doing business, just in case if any kind of like lawsuit were to happen or whatever, then, we would be protected in that manner because right now how we're doing the association is not how it's written in the bylaws. Because, bylaws where you got to meet every so often, you got to face to face and, all these things that they didn't have, Zoom and things like that. So we just wanted to update the bylaws to reflect how we're doing business. That's about $1,200. But like I said, I'm going to send this all over to the board members once we adjourn this meeting, and then the board members can kind of decide what to spend the money on for next year. Uh, Additional business and items of concern, the last bit here. We did decide to increase the rental lease fee to $400, locked in for 2 years. Change or charge. I'm sorry. I was saying that we probably need to start a capital reserve fund for upcoming projects. 10% of like any kind of surplus that we have at the end of the year should go into the capital reserve fund just to like, save up for the big projects that we're going to have to address eventually. We never know when the erosion thing is going to actually, we're going to actually need it, but it's going to be needed. And it looks like we've approved the budget for 2025, and that was with the increase in the association dues by $25 and the rental fees to $400. And now, coming across to our election of our new board members, I'm assuming that Charlene, you still want to stay on the board as president?
Well, I don't know since I'm the only one here to use my witch eyes like ugly
why? I'm here
witches.
too. I'm on the board.
Yeah, I know. I'm just making sure everybody still wants to do it. Victor, do you want to stay on the board for next year?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
Nick, you're okay with allowing these three to stay on the board and you just hanging back, or did you want to be on the board as well? If you do, then we got to have a vote. If you don't want to be on the board, then it's fine.
If you're talking about me, I could just watch.
Okay. So that's good. We'll keep the same board for next year then.
Yeah.
The board members, you guys know I don't send too many emails, maybe one or two a year, just to kind of
Hmm.
ask you guys what you guys want to do with the money. So we'll have Charlene as the president, we'll have Marco as the vice president, and we'll have Victor as the secretary treasurer again. So we're going to call this meeting to an end. We're going to adjourn this meeting 6:58 p.m. Kept it underneath an hour. Thank you guys all for
Amazing,
Yes.
amazing,
We're
Tim.
going to create the minutes here and we're going to send it out to everybody on the minutes. And actually, I'm going to post the meeting on YouTube so everybody can see what we were discussing for the association. Thank you all very much for your participation. Thank you all for showing up. Let's have a great next year.
Happy New Year to
Happy New
everybody.
Year.
Happy
Don't
New
Happy New
Year.
Year. Happy New Year.
contact me.
Are you celebrating, Charlene? You do
Yes, I'm already
Taiwanese? You do
I'm already
Taiwanese?
nonstop. Yes, I'm actually start from this Saturday. The Stone Mountain have a great Chinese New Year celebration at
Mm,
Stone
mm,
Mountain. Go ahead,
hmm.
Awesome.
attend.
Good. Awesome.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
If you see each other
All
around, give
right.
each other high
Yeah.
fives. Nice job on
Take
Uh,
care.
last
thank
All
year.
right.
you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys. Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.